it's hard to say what our sound is, but I can make a pretty clear statement about what our approach is, and that ends up giving us some consistency, even though 1 minute we're fooling around with a drum machine and the next minute we're playing kind of a rock song. And our approach is very much towards what is the process and what's the procedure that we're going to follow, and then we just sit back and see what it sounds like. This is the machine I call the drum machine, and it's basically not unlike a music box, except you get to change the pattern, and it plays percussion instead of melody. And it's composed of a big wheel and 6 different tracks where information is stored in the form of pegs, and I use little bamboo skewers for shish kebab cut up. And basically the wheel turns, and as those pegs are carried by a series of switches, that a peg going by a switch signals the dedicated instrument to do its thing. What I find more interesting and what's much more challenging is the process of, how do you hit something? Because when you hit something as a human percussion player, the amount of control you have, you just take for granted. You can make a dead blow, or you can bounce the stick, or you can really pull it off the surface fast and get a ringy sound. And it's very challenging to get a piece of mechanical contraption to do that the way you want it to. So it's very hit and miss, but I get better and better at making them. The machines themselves are made, the motors that I use to actuate whatever instrument are motors I get out of hard drives, preferably huge hard drives from the 1980s. There's this world that just casts out stuff. Stuff comes in, stuff comes out. Computer hard drives are like a ridiculous example of that. And so they're just around for the taking, and they don't have any value to most people after that technology cycle has wiped them clean. So yeah, I like seeing what things in the world can do other than what they were intended to do.
So it's really exciting to work with these machines that Mark's put together, because it adds certain layers of it adds certain subtext to our music that I think is hard to create when you're just using sort of the instruments we're all used to.
Making things is very central to my process as a person, and the fact that I can now make things that are instruments that go on to have another life and participate in this crazy interaction that is between a musician and an instrument and other musicians on stage and then the audience. That's where it's at for me.
I feel like that's one thing that makes us different, is that we're really willing for our music to be malleable and move in different directions, and have our performance not be music sometimes, but be something completely separate from that.
I mean, for us as a band, we've used the words, will it be an art show or will it be a rock show? Meaning, will it be us playing our rock instruments or us playing with one of Mark's inventions? It's pretty much what that has boiled down to.
Yeah.
And the way that we kind of change up our sounds from song to song is pretty unique. So I would hope that when people come to see us, that they see something that they realize that it's unique. there's plenty of really good original music that's coming out of Greensboro. And I think it's great for everyone who lives in Greensboro and who can go and experience it and be part of the scene and see the music. And, you know, since it's a small, relatively small city, you know, if you consistently go and see music, then you're going to end up, you know, hanging out with people that play the music and become part of the music.
Such an amazing amount of creativity in Greensboro, and in a way there's a lot less distraction. It's cheaper to live here. I think people can maintain a creative lifestyle a lot easier here. There's enough to focus on right here, and that could be called success if we're a really important part of people's creative lives here in the city, and add to the quality of life in, you know, little ass Greensboro. That's a kind of success. And, you know, it may not pay my bills, but there's a whole lot of different kinds of bills, you know, when you come down to it, that make up life, and only a few of them are rent or electric.
We've really managed to not pigeonhole ourselves into a particular sound and haven't closed a whole lot of doors. And the further we move along, the more sort of paths are opening themselves to us in terms of like exploring different sounds and exploring different ideas. So I think we've got a lot of different directions and many futures out in front of us, and I'm kind of interested to figure out which ones we pursue. But it feels really wide open. And for me, that's one thing that's really exciting about this group, is that I know I'm not going to show up and hammer out the same songs every day and then go home, but that it's going to be an adventure.
Yeah, I think the future of Invisible is that we will continue to play out as much as possible. We will go on tour soon, probably with Mark's typewriter piano invention. And we will have a CD at that point, and we will sell it, and hopefully people will like us. I doubt that it's going to result in any labels, major or whoever, like come knocking on our door, because it just, to me, that just seems like a thing of the past, kind of. So that I can say, that's what the future holds for sure. Past that, there's no telling.